We got released from the scene about 5:15-ish. So we were there from 9:30, 10 o'clock, all the way through the whole evening into the morning. And so, for one, we were exhausted, mentally, physically. I mean, we were wearing these bulletproof vests, helmets. Most of us had bunker gear on.
But when you finally, the adrenaline comes down a little bit, you just kind of sit back and you're just going, what in the world just happened?
What stood out to me is how many places and how many assignments that just our 4-person company received.
So everybody had their own story to tell. So we sat at that table and I could just see it on everybody's faces that they were just in awe and shock of what just happened. And we were able to now start processing it. And that's when it really hit everybody.
You become accustomed to each other and the different demeanors we carry around the station, and everybody had a completely different demeanor around the station that morning.
It was just a somber morning, and then the drive home was surreal. And I'd say I was like that for a couple days, just numb.
I sat in my truck in the parking garage for probably a good 25 minutes, and I just sobbed. It hadn't hit me until then of not so much what I went through, but what this person had done. How something could happen like this.
I just lost it as soon as I drove off property. It was pretty surreal. Looking back and playing that tape in my head from the last 8 hours and what I'd seen and what my brothers saw. And
that was our last shift of our cycle, to be off of work for 6 days. That first day, everybody wanted to be with their family and kind of take in what occurred. Nobody had slept. I thought it was important to reach out to our crew and say we need to all meet up, family, wives, spouses, significant others, to go just have a beer and decompress. And that's what we did.
We got to talk. We got to kind of deal with what we were going through.
Being together with the guys afterwards was pretty awesome.
I didn't expect that everybody was going to show up, but there was 100% turnout. Everybody showed up.
The thing that really stuck in my mind the most is our battalion chief. He did an outstanding job that night. And it's a guy that I've sat next to at that dinner table for the last 8 years. And he's molded me as a firefighter. And so that night, hearing his voice and the way he ran the call, I never looked at another man so, he was just such a strong presence in my life. He was somebody that you could look to. But so that morning I went to go say, hey chief, you did a great job. And I walked into his bunk and the man was sobbing uncontrollably on his bed by himself. And so I just remember seeing him and I knew it was more than just what we just done. It was gonna be with us for a long time. It was tough. That was one of those where it's like, man, we're not invincible.
Long term, I think everybody started seeing a lot of the effects about 3 to 4 months.
But the aftermath, I guess it still goes.
I can still see up to and including the outfit of the girl that I was doing CPR on. I can see her face, I can see her hair, I can see her clothing.
And I'm still dealing with it as far as counseling and just getting it off my chest sometimes, and sometimes we just need to do that. That first shift back, we made a point to go down to Sunrise Hospital just to see these people. You help them what you can, but some we didn't even get names on. It was, tie a tourniquet or put some bandage on, do an assessment real quick, and then off they go. And so we wanted to go and see these people after and see how everybody was doing and if people were recovering. And it was sad to see the amount of people's lives that were changed. One of the guys that was on our crew, he's from California. And so we're in the hallway of the hospital, and as we're walking down, just seeing people, one of the people had a sweatshirt from his high school.
He's like, that's the high school I went to. It's a Southern California high school. And he went up to the lady and said the high school motto, and she's looking at him like, how do you know that? And he's like, that's my high school. And she's like, well, my daughter was shot, and she's in that room, and she's a teacher there.
And she says, well, you gotta come meet my daughter.
So we've kind of developed a relationship. She's came in and visited us a couple times and just following her story, how she's recovered. She's just a trooper.
And along with the rest of the crew, and we've kind of all formed a bond with her and her family.
I'm not surprised by any way about how, my coworkers responded that night. I see them every day do something remarkable. I mean, these guys are so eager to help people. You know, they're so well trained. You know, they come to work every day to make a difference.
Just the fact that everybody worked seamlessly together.
And it wasn't just us. It wasn't just the county fire department. We had MedicWest, AMR, community ambulance, all the police entities in town were there. Everybody was just kind of a one group and not, hey, you're them, you're us, you guys stay over there. I mean, everybody worked flawlessly together.
The number that sticks out to me is 58 people died. And it seems like whenever a shooting like this happens, you know, you read the news and you say, you know, 11 people were shot. And then unfortunately you go to bed, you wake up the next day and 2 more of the patients died. It just shows you that the program works. Unfortunately, 58 people died, but it's remarkable to me that that's it. You know, you didn't wake up the next day and see the horrible news that more people passed away. You know, that was it.
I see the best of humanity in this community, and I see the worst of it. But that night I saw both. In one night you could see that wide spectrum of good and bad.
Through all the tragedy and the heartbreak and people losing family members, it was the closeness that it brought this city.
The way that the community pulled together was amazing.
Just the generosity in the general public.
The next day the lines were down the street to give blood and to donate food and water and whatever anybody needed. The whole city was like, what do you need?
The line to donate at the blood bank was 7 hours long, and people stood there the whole time waiting to donate blood.
It was one of those events that will change my life. You know, I look at life differently. I look at this job differently now.
And I'm just proud of the department. Proud of my brothers and sisters I worked with that night.
We saved hundreds of lives that night. That's, you know, I think that was the proudest moment that I have on this department. Probably the proudest moment in my life. We saved a lot of people, I think.